Okay, back to the dinim of Shemon Esrei. You have to daven the Amidah quietly. The only one that can hear what you say is yourself. You're not allowed to say it in a way that somebody else will hear it. This is derived and learned out when Chana was davening in the Beis Hamikdash to have a baby Shmuel, which eventually she had Shmuel. So it says over there that Eli HaKohen looked at her, and her lips were moving, but he didn't hear anything. So he thought she was drunk. And she said, I'm not drunk, I'm a broken-hearted lady. But the bottom line, from there we learn out a lot of laws of the davening. And the din is the Shemona Esrei, you have to daven quietly. Like it says right by Chana. Next din is like this. The Shemona Esrei has to be said standing. Unless, God forbid, somebody's sick, that they could daven laying in bed. But like this, you have to stand when you do the Amidah. Now the din is, in halacha, if I lean on something, then if that thing were to be pulled away, I'd fall down. That's not called standing. So if I'm putting my whole weight on this when I'm davening, Shemona Esrei, that obviously this, if somebody pulls it away, I'm going to fall down. So then that's not called standing. If I just stand properly and put my hands like this, so I'm not going to fall if you take it away. That's called standing. But if you're leaning against something, not only like any type of leaning, or you're leaning against a pole, whatever, in a way that if they take it away, you will fall down, it's not called standing. Okay, while you're davening Shemona Esrei, you're not allowed to hold anything in your hand. Nothing. The only thing you're allowed to hold in your hand is a siddur. Now there is a din Shulchan Aruch that a lot of parents don't know because they're too lazy. What happens if you're davening Shemona Esrei and your kid starts screaming and yelling, which is disturbing everybody in the shul? So halacha is, you're allowed to walk out of Shemona Esrei, pick up the kid and hold him to be quiet. You're allowed to hold the kid. Why? Because it's disturbing everybody else's davening.
Then you start over?
Huh? No, you're still where you left off. What I'm saying.
And if somebody asks you a question?
In Shemona Esrei you don't answer.
Regarding something important in davening?
You can't answer in the middle of Shemona Esrei. You can't move your eyes, you can't, nothing. You can't move your hands. In Shema, if they ask you something important, in the second paragraph of Shema, in V'hoyim Shemaya, in the third, then you're allowed to make movements with your hand to answer a question, but in the Shemona Esrei not. But, one second, but a little thing, as if somebody has a running nose, and they want to hold a tissue in their hand, so then it says you're allowed to, because it's a little thing. What?
What if my kid asks me that question? Am I allowed to tell him, asking it loudly, and am I allowed to stop and talk to him?
In the Amidah, in Shemona, no.
It's the same thing as taking him out. Even if I take him out, I can't talk to him.
No. The only reason why you're allowed to take him out is because he's disturbing everybody else. And that's the only reason.
You're not allowed to say anything?
No.
What if that will make him be quiet?
You could say shh, but you can't, you're not allowed to talk in Shemona
You
Esrei.
have to restart?
No, but you're not allowed to talk. If somebody, let's say, in the middle of the Shemona Esrei, you have to go to the bathroom, an emergency. So then they go out, and then they start again from the beginning. Then you have to start again from the beginning. Now, another thing is like this. When you daven, this is a very important thing. You're not allowed to face a picture. A picture of people, animals, suns or moon, things like the sun or moon, things like that. You're not allowed to face any picture. What happens if it's in a house? Okay, then according to many opinions, that's the halacha, you're allowed to close your eyes. But in front of a mirror, what happens if you're davening in front of a mirror? The din is even closing your eyes is not going to help. Why? What's the difference? Davening in front of a mirror gives the impression you're davening to yourself. That means, like many people think they're God. The smart people don't say it, but they think it. But the not so smart people say it. When you're davening in a mirror, facing a mirror, then it looks like you're davening. So then, the Amidah also says, closing your eyes is not going to help. because it's still reflecting you. In front of other pictures, if you're in the middle of davening already, there's no way out, so then you could close your eyes. But there's a very interesting halacha. In fact, there's a whole discussion in halacha. You know, a lot of times they have in the shul pictures of, like even on the Aruch, they have lions, you know, around the luchas or something like that. Or many shuls have pictures. So the din is in Shulchan Aruch like this. If it's above the height of a person, meaning it's more than 6 feet high, then you're allowed to daven in that direction. Many times there are pictures on the ceilings or all the way up. If there's a big high ceiling, they'll put pictures on the top of the, like 15 feet up or whatever it is. Then Allah said that doesn't matter because you're not really facing it when you're davening. It's above your head. But if it's within reach, so to speak, of your face, then it's a problem.
So the lions on the Perechis?
The lions and the perech is a whole discussion in halacha. Huh? There's a lot of shuls. There's a letter from the Rabbi about it, even Lepel. Here, the Magen Avraham brings down, you're not allowed to have pictures in the shul opposite the height of a person. They have the 12 mazolas and this, that most people say you shouldn't do it. But some people, some people differentiate between a picture that's just drawn, that doesn't stick out, versus a sculpture that sticks out a little bit. Or what?
About the stained glass.
What stained glass? That's above. It's above the.
6 feet.
Huh?
It's above 6
So that's what I'm saying. Above 6 feet, the all right is not a problem.
However, if you're davening and someone is sitting right across from you, that's even worse than a picture or anything.
Trust me, you're not davening to them.
I understand, but that you're not davening to the picture either. That's a human. I think it's better not to have someone in front door.
What do you expect everybody to line up on the front wall?
No, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm saying-
Well, during the davening, I think everybody should be facing the same way. No.
They should be facing the same way. No, but what happens if you're standing Shemoneh Esrei and somebody's sitting? So it depends. If he was there first, he doesn't have to move. But if you were davening Shemoneh Esrei,
And he comes and sits.
then he's not allowed to come and sit in front of you. But if he's there first, then there's no problem. He was there first. You don't like it, go somewhere else.
How about plants? Having plants in shul?
Plants are not a problem in a shul. Trees are in the problem of a shul because they sita locha sheda b'chol eitz. Kol eitz, next to the mizbeach. There's a din. The goyim, their idol worshiping, used to have trees in their churches. Then it was a shaila of having an ashera tree, which was a tree they used to worship in the temples. So then it was a problem. So the Torah said you're not allowed to have a tree in a shul. But plants in a shul are not a problem.
How about when you're down and people come walk right in front of you, back and forth?
They're not supposed to. That's what it says. If you're davening, nobody should come in front of you.
Talking, handing out orange papers.
Orange papers,
Rabbi,
that's for Orange Grove.
to pick up a kid in Shemona Esrei is not a hefsek, but to go to the bathroom is a hefsek. You have to repeat from the beginning.
There's a difference if it's a private thing, you're doing it because of the community. When a kid is screaming, disturbing everybody's davening, then there's no individual anymore. You have to pick up the kid and take him out and keep him quiet. A person that has to go, first off, a person needs to go to the bathroom, they're not allowed to daven anyway. So therefore, b'chal, they have to be daven anyway. I mean, apidin, if a guy really had to go to the bathroom and he rushed through Shemoneh Esrei, he finished the Shemoneh Esrei, he runs to the bathroom, according to Allah, he has to daven the whole Shemoneh Esrei again. Because you're not allowed to daven when you have the need that you need to go.
Can you give it? If somebody's standing right there and he's going to leave, he wants to give him money. Do you take out $1?
In the middle of Shemoneh Esrei? No. No.
So you have to just completely ignore.
You're not allowed, you have to ignore him. The problem is these guys that collect money should know that you don't bother somebody in the middle of Shema or middle of Shemoneh Esrei. Because they're not allowed to give you anyway. Now, another din is you're not allowed to daven in an open field that you don't have something like a rock in front of you or something else. So it says here, because you need when you have a modest place, meaning something in front of you, you have more of a broken heart. But if you're traveling and the only place you could daven is in the field, then you're allowed to, but it's best to daven in between the trees, because then at least there's something there. There's a story, the Rebbe Rashab and the Friedrich Rebbe was once, the Rebbe Rashab used to have to go walking for his health. And he used to take the Friedrich Rebbe with him a lot of times. They would talk, talk and learning and chassidus and stories or whatever. So it came time for mincha, and they were walking in the field, and the Rebbe Rashab saw a cave, a little cave, and off the side a little bit. So he said, let's go to the cave. You can't daven in an open place, so let's go to the cave, we'll daven. And the Rebbe Rashab said to the previous Rebbe, he said, when Hashem created the world, 5,700, whatever he was that year, when Hashem created the world, he foresaw, obviously, that 2 Jews are going to need to daven mincha in this field. Therefore, 5,700 something years ago, he made a cave in this field that 5,500 years later, Jews are going to be able to daven there. That's the right approach.
Did you say daven is between 2 trees? So you can't face a tree?
You shouldn't daven. Well, it depends. If it's a tree that you might worship, then you don't have to. It says you daven between the trees.